Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and ladies and gentlemen, happy April Fool's Day, everybody, because I'm the likes of the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, Nintendo Wii U, and of course PC Steam, and the one and only Nintendo 3DS. So, yeah, last time we actually did manage to completely done with the Dragon Cup in mirror mode on that particular Grand Prix. And today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be moving on to the Rogue Cup in the mirror version of the Grand Prix Cup. But yeah, let's just go get this thing started, and of course we'll go for hard mode, see if I'm up for the challenge basically. And for this particular today's video is the fact that since after all, that Ralph Breaks the Internet DVD just came out today in the UK country, so we figure we might be able to play as Ralph for today. Because obviously I'm really looking forward to able to re-watching Ralph Breaks the Internet again. Back in Dream when it first released on the big screen. So I thought to myself, well, I'm also able to decide to choose him for the sake of today's, Ralph Breaks the Internet's DVD/Blu-rays release. So, yeah, let's get this thing to it. See, Fernando, as I said this before, this is the April Fool's Day today, so I probably won't do the official April Fool's joke or anything like that, just because, well, I thought to myself I might actually go ahead and just deal with the video itself. So even then though, and as I said this before, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, so even then though, if you couldn't tell from my voice and everything, so anyway, so let's get to it with the forms of the first course in, the Rogue Cup, and that was of course, Temple Trouble from Super Monkey Ball. And yeah, that's as far as I can say, and we got ourselves a nice little good start when it comes to the countdown system. And like always, I'm going to be going for the harder challenge by simply going for the entire cup, while simply able to actually go through the hard difficulty, so that I can able to actually go up for the challenge, especially by the forms of the mirror version of that cup. So yeah, that's as far as I expect at this point. So that, as I mentioned this to you before, that this is actually today's day was actually forms of the 1st of April, in this case, April Fool's Day today. And because of that though, we actually on to the second quarter of this year. So yeah, it's quite surprising kind of thing about it, because even then, that yesterday, or especially in the entire weekends, that I don't think I can able to discuss too much to be honest, because obviously that me and Pinkie Pie already finished, discuss upon the actual later parts of the forms of the Super Mario Party game itself. So generally speaking, that's as far as we can able to think about for the time. And talk about the actual tradition side of things, that hopefully for this week, especially noticeable when it gets to Friday, hopefully we might as well able to actually finish up this Let's Play completely, and then after that, I'm about to be able to be hopping back into Shadow the Hedgehog, while me and Pinkie Pie are still going to be carry on doing, Super Mario Parties, just for the sake of the forms of just showing off some more things here and there, and actually kind of think about it, after the forms of what I was going to be doing some Shadow the Hedgehog recording sessions, I'll let Piglet will able to actually deal with the Super Luigi Galaxy playthrough at some point this month, and what the hell? I just keep on failing off for no reason whatsoever, but I digress. But we got ourselves a super pickup nonetheless, so. And hopefully when that Let's Play's been done before, Team Sonic Racing comes out, then I should able to actually go ahead and deal with that game, or to tackle for that game's Let's Play at some point in next year, specifically for the Nintendo Switch, because even then, I'm going to be playing for the PlayStation 4 version on my own time, so that way I can able to actually get used to how the game looks like. So yeah, I've already said this countless amount of times, so yeah, that probably explains about this fact. So Speaking of Team Sonic Racing, actually, is the fact that recently, the fact that they did actually release, there's going to be another track has been revealed on the Team Sonic Racing game, and that will have to be by the forms of Haunted Castle. So we have ourselves a spooky themed level going on in here, but just like in the forms of how it does it in Bingo Party, returning track from Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, it only just shows us the actual in-game music or anything like that for that particular course of the track. So yeah, that makes it totally obvious, because even I know that, yeah, you probably get the idea. I'm really hoping that the demo version might be released on digital download stuff, because that way I can able to actually try the game out first before I'm able to actually get my first full experience on during my PlayStation 4 version, and especially noticeable during the Let's Play of that game on the Nintendo Switch version most likely, so that, well, you know, you get the idea for that point right there. I haven't really deal with that much in terms of like stupid stunt fails. I hate this particular stuff like this. And oh really? Myself is gonna be able to beat me all this time? Oh Jesus Christ, man. And sadly to say is the fact that really? What? Oh my god, they really cut me off. Especially because of that stupid stunt fails that keep on pulling off. But oh, that's just really ridiculous. Anyways though. And another thing I want to explain about this actually is the fact that, well, me and Pinkie Pie did mention about this and during the likes of the last weekend actually, is the fact that, well, Nintendo's E3 2019's specific website has actually been opened recently. So even though they did manage to discuss upon the forms of like specifically 2 events currently, which there are special tournaments for both Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World Tournament, but it forms within 2019, and also there's going to be one for Splatoon 2 as well. So even then though, that things should be a little bit more, let's just say, interesting at the beginning, and that's as far as I can usually gather about it. But it's all it gets to later on in, you know, the 11th of June, which should be almost about 2 months ahead. So even then though, it's getting pretty damn close, can I think about it. And as a matter of fact, I'm still looking forward to the forms of the E3 2019 stuff in as far as I'm concerned with, so can't wait to see how this will turn out. See, even then though, well, it wasn't until when I don't know if I might be able to actually get back into Kingdom Hearts Final Mix and discuss upon most of the stuff throughout, or perhaps maybe if Piglet might actually discuss more onto that when he was about to be currently doing on, you know, the Super Luigi Galaxy playthrough. Well, at least in terms of Super Mario Galaxy games. So, yeah, that makes it totally obvious for this point here. So anyways, though, we're about to be... Oh, what the... Oh, jeez. I keep on getting wrecked by the forms of, like, you know, some of these computer players and stuff. I have no idea why. But, yeah, speaking of Ralph Breaks the Internet, actually, I did once again manage to able to, got that on the DVD, just because of how the fact that, well, despite the fact that the DVD version has pretty lacking with extra features, which is kind of disappointing, but, unlike in the Blu-ray version, they did manage to able to have some extra features, which, I'm not sure why they attempt to do that nowadays, because even then, I really do miss the old days, where basically they did actually feature some of these bonus features in that particular disc, but from some stupid reason, it's the fact that they decided able to now move them onto the Blu-ray format, which even then I don't have any problems with, but especially if I was trying to able to collect as many of those DVDs as I can. Well, most of them I really seem to adore, and most of the time might be very curious. And there are some other DVDs that I might actually not go ahead and buy. Like, for instance, for example, that terrible The Emoji Movie, which, by the way, that film is going to be decreasing the score now by the forms of, you know, the critics and stuff like that, even though it did happen for about almost 2 years ago at this point. Well, it wasn't until any forms of in August, mind you, that it will become like 2 years. So, but generally speaking though, it's now 7%, which thank God, because I despise that film so freaking much. I know some people seem to agree with me, but honestly, I just really can't stand that film so much. But I digress. So, yeah, I did manage to rewatch the film again on my own time, and I really still enjoyed it even to this day. Sure, it wasn't as nearly as perfect as the first film in my opinion, but still it's very good nonetheless, even though that's how the fact that the story itself might be a little bit more simple or something like that. It's hard to explain, because even then though that, well, I don't normally look upon scripts that these much, because even then, because the reason why, because obviously I don't want to let any people to get spoiled by these certain stuff like this. Although, due to YouTuber side of things, they seem to somehow put too many spoilers up ahead, so even though that, yeah, I don't know why they do that, but I digress. So, Another thing I want to explain about this actually is the fact that recently I managed to able to pre-order myself the Lego Movie 2 DVD because I enjoyed the first film and I'm really looking forward to able to re-watching the second film again. Even though originally I was supposed to able to actually get the Lego Batman movie because I seemed to able to enjoy it, but I just couldn't get around to it because other than the fact that, not to mention, since I need to able to save up some cash for, you know, Team Sonic Racing and especially noticeable with Crash Team Racing Nitro Field until that game comes out, including Super Mario Maker 2 at this point. So, generally speaking, that I probably should save that up for the time. So, besides, I can able to actually just decide to able to do whatever I want. So, yeah, you get the suggestions for this point. So, anyways though, and as you can see, that way I did manage to able to go in first place right there, due to, like, Sonic right there, or in this case myself, did manage to get screwed over at the end. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a compromise here, and thank you for giving me that specific, reward I really desperately wanted. Like, for instance, the actual, boost for starts. So, yeah, definitely a little bit more worth it, so thank you. So anyways though, as you can tell, that we've already did manage to unlock, you know, by the forms of the mirror versions of, Temple Trouble, and especially noticeable with the mirror version of, Galactic Parade. I think that's what the actual stage is called. And that will be the final time to able to actually explore these kinds of stages, because other than the fact that we're getting quite close towards the end of this Let's Play, but even then though that I'm pretty sure we almost at the forms of the third quarters of the forms of the Grand Prix mode somehow. But even then though, we'll see what happens there before the actual, like, processing will goes. So, and by the way, once again, I'm so sick of the forms of my microphone at this point, because for whatever reason, I swear I did not even move there, but I did manage to able to actually just try to be very cautious and be careful at the same time. And what happens is, though, is the fact that, oh, Jesus Christ, man, I just keep getting wrecked by that stuff. But I digress. But anyway, I swear I did not even jinx it, but most of the time it just keeps on doing it, just for the sake of, like, I'm guessing this might be something to do with the loose USB connector or some kind. But even then, that's as far as my mainly concern about this kind of stuff. So anyways, let's go ahead and do some more tricks here and there. Well, aside from that, you know, just... What the... What the hell is that? Did you see that right there for this point, folks? I somehow got out of bounds by the forms of that glitch. Even though the wall was supposed to able to protect me from able to actually decide to able to actually just, you know, get a little bit of more of a consequences there. But for whatever reason, I just managed to able to go out of bounds while I simply managed to go flew off by that fence. But either way though, that's as far as I can usually try to think about. So yeah, this is kind of weird, but anyway, so let's just go ahead and use the hard rod so that I can able to hopefully trying to catch up to Amy though, but of course she did manage to avoid a lot of these items most of the time, especially with the forms of that swan right there. Even though I could potentially try to able to actually go for medium again, but I'm just gonna say right now, I'm probably not gonna do that, just because, well, it might be a little bit more of a, you know, the baby's level or something like that. I have no idea why I say that, but either way though, let's just not go out of bounds again, let's just hope. And looks like, yep, there we go. So, I could go from the right, but I'm probably not going to risk it too much. So, it looks like, oh, Amy, she's still really going to catch up at this point. And I think we did manage to got her, so, but not completely though. And son of a... I'm just getting tired of this. I just keep on, like, bypassing every single item boxes as soon as I possibly can. But the game expects me about the fact that it just give it to the computer players, like, somewhere completely elsewhere. So it's like, oh, son of a... As soon as I do the actual trick system, and then the narrator just thinks that stun fails at me. It just goes stun fails at me. God, dang it. But I digress. We got it all start though, so I think that should be okay. So you can end out that. Let's just hoping if we don't mess things up with the drifting, and especially noticeable with some items coming up, and especially noticeable with basically for pretty much everything as far as I can usually think about for the time. So even then, let's just go ahead and just keep on using those tricks and what have you. And I think we'll be good to go for this point. And let's take the alternative route. Even though I did accidentally miss that super pickup, but that's okay because I simply managed to get to the first place with no time. Good lord, what? This particular course goes all over the place. Like, we did come across into an out-of-bounds glitch, and also at the same time, that how the fact of the matter is, though, is that, well, computer players just keep on wrecking me all the goddamn time. And especially with that stupid trick system, as far as I'm usually conservative with, even though that it's been mapped to the right analog stick, which I'm fine with, and everything and all that, but what I'm not fine with is that every time when I was trying to do multitude of tricks, and sometimes the narrator, or even the announcer, keeps on telling me stun failed, meaning about the fact that I keep on losing acceleration or speed. Ugh, god dang it, man. But anyways, let's move on to the final track in the forms of the Rogue Cup, and that will have to be, well, Rogue's Landing. But this time on the mirror version of that particular track. I don't know if we actually done this before already, but either way though, I'm pretty sure we have not done this, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and get ourselves a little bit of a good start there, and we are about to be good to go here. So I'm actually very curious to see how the fact that what if Nintendo E3 2019 is going to be able to actually announce with some kinds, because even then, although despite the fact that we've already got ourselves about like I would say by the forms of I don't know how many days specifically, but at the moment at this point I was gonna call it like almost 2 months left before, you know, Nintendo's E3 is about to be able to be, like, announced at this point. And, speaking of such, I do know there might be some rumors about the forms of Nintendo Direct for this month on April, but don't expect high hopes for it, though, because either way, though, that you might find out it might be a fake or what have you, but then again, that it might be really too much of a busy work, so, but even then, though, that we'll see what happens there, so... I guess that's all I can say about the forms of today's video, honestly, folks, other than the fact that, well, there's not much else I can say, because, you know, me and Pinkie Pie did already mention several things in mind, ever since by the forms of the weekend's Super Mario Party videos, so, expecting that we might actually discuss upon it more, until, like, at some point in this weekend, specifically the 6th and the 7th of April, so even then, though, that me and Pinkie Pie are now going to be moving on to the second board in the partner party, which that kind of surprised me about this actually, is the fact that we almost nearly towards the very end of the actual Let's Play so far, even though it might took us about like a couple of weekends before we were able to actually finish up that entire Let's Play completely. I know there's not much to it though, but apart from that though, jeez. Anyways though, so let's go ahead and help me. I have no idea why I just say that though, but I digress. I just keep on thinking to myself, I was watching PK Spark's Let's Play of Mario Strikers Charged, and he just got completely wrecked by the forms of so many computer players, especially on extreme difficulty, which I seem to be able to watch that a lot though, so even then I found his Let's Play on that game was actually very fun and enjoyable, even though there are some raging moments here and there, like for instance, like, you know, just getting owned by Waluigi's team at the finale of Fire Cup, and especially noticeable with the forms of like, I guess I can't really tell, even though despite the AI of the actual goalie keeper just gone acting like pretty bonkers, so it only happens to me though, so even though that don't worry, that it did happens to me sometimes, so anyway. So anyway, so here we are on to the final lap, so yeah, to be expected, we're flying in the air. And I think this is going to be the final time we're going to be seeing this stage, because after that, you know, we're about to be moving on to the forms of the next cup after this, which is of course the Emerald Cup, which again, I might be a little bit skeptical about that, but I'm not really looking forward to it, just because of that Graffiti City again. Ugh. Can you tell why I'm really not looking forward to able to replaying that stage again, because of how the trial and error moments is I have to able to come across into. But either way though, despite the actual like you know, frustration incoming departments until tomorrow and stuff, Well, let's just hope so. See, Nintendo, there we go. We've actually completely dealt with the Rogue Cup in the Mirror class, or in this case, the forms of the Mirror Grand Prix mode, I should say. So, yeah, overall it's pretty alright, even though, except in the first race, the fact that we did accidentally lose, or in this case, we did not get second or first place, because we seemed to able to get owned by the forms of computer players, and it seems that Sonic did manage to catch up quite significantly. So, but either way though, we did actually unlock something for Ralph on the other hand though, so that's pretty good. So that way we actually did unlock the forms of the acceleration mod. So, yeah, but again, I'm probably not going to spend most of my time trying to able to level up in my characters from, you know, for the entire game. Well, unless if I have to on my own time. Specifically on my Xbox 360 version, and especially noticeable with the Wii U version, and heck, even the PlayStation 3, whenever I get that game at some point on the PlayStation 3, or the PlayStation Vita, but again, it's more likely the same, but decreasing the amount of players. So, but for me, I'm gonna go for the PlayStation 3 version. Well, sort of, I guess. So anyways though, positions-wise, that's he's in 3rd place, Sonic is Sonic, in this case myself, in 2nd place, and Wreck-It Ralph, he's in the top lead. I'm gonna wreck it! Might be a perfect opportunity for, you know, Ralph Breaks the Internet DVD. It just came out recently in the United Kingdom so far, which is pretty cool if you ask me, but either way though, that's as far as I usually can say about this here. So, anyways though, I guess we should probably end things off at this point right there. So, but again, there's not much else I can really talk for this at this point though, just because of the actual, like, discussions that me and Pinkie Pie already mentioned about the forms of the previous weekend, but that's just how it is for me. So join me next time when Let's Play Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, is that we're about to be moving on to the forms of the mirror version of the Emerald Cup. So hopefully the computer players don't even gonna screw me up, especially whenever we get to Graffiti City, which, oh boy, I'm still not looking forward to that stage again. So see you guys then. Later, fellas.